Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. It is, of course, July 25th, 2020. This is our show number 155. Jeez.
And happy free RPG day.
Yes, so if you are, I think that you have to go to stores for that, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Stores are giving like little samples out, prizes, stuff like that. So if you can if you have a local game store that's open, and can get to it, go visit them, support them, maybe get some free swag.
Like I know, one near us. Well, generally near us, not that near us. Well less
generally near you now.
Yeah, less near you. Cyborg One gave me, because I'm apparently on their email list. They sent me an email when they reopened, but last time I heard, they had very stringent rules about who can be in the store. So that's the big thing you have to be careful about, is how many people can be in the store.
Yeah, especially that store is great, but it is somewhat on the small side, so they probably have very tight restrictions on how many people can be in it.
Yep. So,
like, the closest one to me is in King of Prussia.
That one might be open, but again, it might also have that how many people can be inside thing.
Yeah.
So
that makes it hard for days like this, where more people might want to show up.
I mean, yeah, no, it's a day that people might want to definitely pop in.
Yeah. Probably means you're not going to have a lot of in-store games going on and stuff at this point.
No. But, anyway, we do have a great set of topics to talk about today, a huge docket. We're first going to talk about a $100 Magic the Gathering pack. Just let that slide onto your brain for a minute.
Money grubbing.
Then we're going to talk about the Magic Companion app. Help you with things like organized play and stuff like that. Then the Mythic's Odysseys of Theros has come out for D&D. The Unmarked Arcana for this month came out, which was based on Feats. We'll talk about that. We're going to briefly dive into the fact that there's a humble bundle for Pathfinder 2nd Edition that's actually pretty damn good. It's for charity, and I think I would definitely throw some support upon it. I can discuss my thoughts on 2nd Edition so far as how I've played it. Kids on Brooms is out. I think we briefly talked about it a little bit. I wanted to hit it up again. Star Trek Adventures, the Kobayashi Maru, is an adventure for the RPG. It's free. We'll talk about that. Munchkin Dungeon is probably an accurate Munchkin board game, maybe to a degree, I think. Like, the experience that the card game is attempting to capture. Because Come On Games does things like Massive Darkness and stuff, which is one of those tile, build-your-own dungeon kind of things.
Yeah, I also love Munchkin Dungeon side quest.
Yep.
You always have to have a side quest.
Always have to have a side quest. And then we got two last topics. We're going to talk a little bit about a party game based on a video game franchise. That's one game and maybe going to be more now. And I didn't think it was that successful of a franchise to really require a party game. But if it's an interesting party game and a concept, and maybe people like it more now than like what I heard about some months ago and stuff. I don't know.
I wasn't even aware of the video game, so
I can talk a little bit about it. I know a little bit about how things have been with that one. And then we'll finally end up with talking about Vaesen, which is it's a Free League Adventures is putting out a Nordic Horror Rpg. That sounds cool. So we'll talk about that.
Can I ride Fenrir?
No, Fenrir's a jerk.
Aw, but he's a good boy. I get treats.
No.
By treats, I mean the souls of the dead.
Give me a second here. I forgot to do something. Let me just pop some stuff out here, because I forgot to do this. It'll be messed up on camera for a second.
We're sharing a screen.
I know.
Social distancing, man. Social distancing.
We'll distance in a second. I forgot to open these in my other browser, because I've got the image browser ready up for so we can all check out the nice images.
I just had to pick on you, because I look over there, I'm like, we're like right next to each other.
So yeah, let's talk about. So the thing is, it's technically not $100, but it's because Magic no longer puts out an MSRP, like a general, like, market price on things. But if you were to look online at the Double Masters VIP edition, it is going for like $100 a pack. I think that's what it is on their like stores and stuff. So if you weren't aware, I think we talked about Double Masters before.
Yes.
I've had my complaints about it because, I agree with a lot of like the sentimentality. It's unnecessarily expensive for what it offers.
Yeah.
It is worse. Let's see here. I have to find the list of... Okay. VIP edition. Contents are going to be 33 cards and 2 foil tokens. For $100.
And, I mean, you're giving... There's Urza's... There's Crop Rotation, Expedition Map, Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's... Oh, God.
In publishing contents of the VIP edition, aired when describing the contents of the 2 foilless booster borders cards found in the VIP edition. While they are marked as rare or mythic in their borderless treatment, 8 of the cards are popular, powerful cards found in other rarities in the set, and those are those ones. They're basically saying that, yes, most of them are rares and mythics, but those ones there are ones that are technically not rare or mythic that are going to be part of the rare or mythic in the VIP edition.
Yeah, but I mean, Urza's Mine, Power Plant, and Tower, that's such an old school gross combo.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, again, but... So here's what appears in the packs. 2 foil borderless cards. Those are special edition cards. And they say cards with a rare symbol will appear twice as much as a card with a mythic symbol for those. So the borderless ones are always rare or mythic in appearance. And I think that's where they're saying that those there that they mentioned, I think, are some of the borderless ones that aren't actually rare or mythic. Right. So you get a borderless, like, special art of Urza's Mine, Power Plant, or Tower. Neat. Then 2 foil rares or mythics, 8 foil uncommons, non-foil commons. So instantaneously, those go out the window for having any value because they're uncommons and commons, and even if they have some value, it might be a couple dollars at most. Then we have 10 full art basic lands, which are only in the VIP edition.
Yeah.
I think someone said about this, I think it was the professor. I saw also some other people talking about this on Twitter. We can find those in other places. Zendikar has always had them. Or one of the unsets have had them. Why are they so important that you get 10 of these? Then 2 foil full art lands, and then 2 foil tokens.
They're really going all in on the foil.
And the foiling has not been good lately. From it curls a lot of their current foiling stuff. Foiling is always curled, but I think it's been like a little worse lately, unfortunately.
It's just way too much money.
Yes.
It's just not worth it.
Like, if I look it up right now on Amazon's, the Double Masters VIP edition is $96.58 on Amazon right now for pre-orders. $96.58
For 35 cards.
Yes. 2 of which are tokens, which only certain people like tokens. Like, I like collecting tokens. I will say that. I know there's plenty of people that don't give a flying rat's butt about tokens, is the thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. I think that's the difference between a collector and a player.
But I'm going to say this here.
Buys to play, someone who buys to collect.
Yeah, like, I do both, personally. Like, I like to collect, I also like to play. I, as a collector, I'm a low-end collector. I collect I can't spend a huge amount of money. I can't get the top-end stuff. Like, if I miss stuff from a set, unless the price drops dramatically, I'm probably not going to buy an individual. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
In this case, I look at this and I'm like, even if I had the money, there is no way I would spend it on this. This stuff is bupkis.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Like, the full art stuff that they're touting, 2 borderless full art cards. Granted, probably there's a few new ones to the set, to like those that can't be found, but like, they're just extra arts, you know, and you can find them in other places a lot of times. The mythics and rares that are foiled, cool. That increases the price a little bit, but it's also double masters, and we know the double master set because they've now spoiled the entire thing with the card image with the gallery.
Right.
As far as I know, unless I'm missing a few, nothing is priced that high that if you go into a foiled version of it, it would feel like you'd be getting your money's worth.
No. It's a pure money grab, and they seem to be doing that a lot more lately.
Yes. I like Magic as a game. I'm always a fan of it. I'd like to play more, I just don't get a lot of chances to. So that's definitely something about the entire game. That's my statement if I'm talking about the game. I like collecting them too.
Right.
But I feel like they're getting farther away from me as a person indulging in their products from getting anything, you know, like...
No, I completely get what you're saying.
They're making it more difficult for me to collect. They did that a while ago. Like, I haven't been able to keep up with everything. Like, if I can get my basics for the normal sets, I'm happy about that. You know, because I try to usually get a fat pack in a box for a normal set. Just to keep up to it a little bit. And I've done pretty well. I think I still have to get Ikoria, and now the core set is, like, out. I think it came out. Yeah, it just came out. And being, like, 2 behind is not too bad.
Yeah.
Like, right now, I think I have enough disposable income I can at least get one of those. Like, I could probably go and get a Ikoria now if I felt like one of my local stores was open and probably had it for both these things. But,
right.
On the other hand, like, premium stuff like this discourages me as a collector because, like, it is way outside not only my wheelhouse, how many other people's wheelhouses is this, like, priced outside of?
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
There's a lot I probably could say about this, but I should probably keep it a little short just because,
We got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Yeah. If you out there would have super amounts of disposable income, and this is the kind of thing for you, maybe I could recommend it. But even then, I'm like saying, like, with a big caveat of, like, you're probably not going to get your money's worth. From what they've described, the chances of you getting your money's worth are much less than a normal pack. A normal pack, you usually don't get your money's worth if you would sell all the individual cards. And that's a fine thing. When you're spending $4 on a pack, and you get maybe, like, you could sell the entire thing for, like, $2 on average. There's a couple of times you could sell it for even, and a couple of times you can sell it for a lot more. It depends on the rare you get. Usually, if I would buy a box, guess what? I'm probably going to get my money's worth for a box for an average Magic set.
Especially if you go with me.
Yes.
Because you always seem to pick the best one.
I have seemingly better luck. I understand this. It's just something that happens.
Yep.
But speaking about Magic, so another thing that came out for them is the Magic Companion app, which is something they've been apparently working on for a while. It's to help you with your organized pay, join events hosted by the Wizards Play Network and stores, record match results, view pairings, track life totals, all on your phone. So this is a very interesting idea. I can get behind, like, this existing, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, hey, at least they're not charging for it.
Yes. Yes, I agree on that one. At least it's a free app, you know, that's... They very easily could have charged for it. Judging Wizards has been going a lot lately. And it's like... I have to say, it's like, if we look at the apps for D&D Beyond, how they've kind of been. You know, they didn't fill me with, like, reassurances that Wizards was going to do something reasonable when it came to them, too.
Yeah. I mean, they made it better now. It's just, it is now what it should have been originally.
Yes. So, I mean, like, the thing about this is, if you are involved with organized play, I think it's a great thing to have. I can't argue against it being very useful. Like, as someone that rarely does anything involved with organized play, I can't, like, say, like, it would be for me. Like, the thing is, like...
I've tried 2 different events and lost horribly, and, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah. I'm much more the casual player.
Yeah. I generally am too. Now, things about it, just some extra details, is if there is a entry fee, you do have to get like a make sure the event, you pay the event slab and then click join from the bottom, navigation of the companion, and they will give you a code for the event, effectively. So it's like you can. It's a good way of saying like I've joined this event. I mean, that's a neat little thing. It works.
Yeah.
So it's got relatively simple rules for doing stuff and setting it up. They got a lot of other little stuff in the companion. It looks like this is going to be like a major part of most organized play now. They're going to try to link up the companion app to a lot of this stuff. I guess it'll make it seem a little easier.
Probably better for tracking purposes.
Yeah, like, I remember, like, at the pre-releases for the stores that I've been to, they usually would put up, like, printouts of stuff of, like, hey, these are, like, the winners and losers, and here's the matchups. Now,
if it will automatically do all the background work, and it could probably just hit print.
Yeah, now if it's, like, on a phone, that feels a lot easier. So, yeah. And you can theoretically host your own event, it seems like. I don't know how official it would be, but maybe you can kind of like say, because hosting your own event, they can do home tournaments. I'm guessing it'll like connect up with other players, but I don't think it's like officially stuff, kind of things like that. So
yeah.
It's an interesting little thing to add as a feature, like a home.
It's probably not, you're not going in the official rankings, but
it might be something a little cool and helpful for you in doing your stuff at home.
Well, yeah, it gives you a chance to see how you would be faring against other people who, if you do these events and stuff, how you might be stacking up, ahead of time.
Yeah, it's good. Kind of keep track of little stuff. You might be able to build like a home tournament then. Yeah, it might be able to like put together rules for you and stuff. Like if you have enough people at home, it certainly, I feel like it probably would track and maybe like divide up the groups a little better. So I think that's cool.
Agreed.
Well, we still have a lot of topics, so we should probably move on. As much as I like talking about magic, we should talk.
Well, we're still going to be talking about magic in a way.
That's true. I can't disagree with this one. We're technically talking about magic.
Talking, same difference.
So the Mystic Odysseys of Theros is out. This is Magic's continued thing of adding. This is Wizards' entire thing of adding Magic the Gathering to D&D. Like, I technically kind of preferred the free plane shifts a lot before, but like I don't think we'll see as many of those anymore. Now they're putting out these full books, which is like, the plane shifts were very simple. They were only a couple of pages, maybe like 20, 30 pages at most, if they had that many. In this case, it's a big old book. Do they say how many pages it is? I can't see.
I will look. No.
Regardless, though, it's $50 out now. It's hardcover. It's in your local game stores. It's about reaving supernatural gifts from the gods, a set of special traits that mark your character for greatness, new races, Leonin and satyrs. English, please work for my tongue.
No. You don't. English doesn't like you. You know that.
Well, yeah, I do know that. But that's besides the point. Stop fighting me, English. I'll beat you up.
Never! That's what English sounds like, by the way.
Okay. Subclass for the Bard, Paladin's Oath of Glory, and some other things about, like, divine protection and stuff like that. So a lot of little things that are pretty cool.
I think what it is the original books were more kind of dipping their toe into, is there an interest for this?
Well, yeah, they start out with the plane shifts, and then they did Ravnica, which Ravnica is the most popular of the planes. You know,
yeah.
The sets have at least been the most popular, so of course, you know, it's going to be the top of the list.
But I think that's why now they're going to full-blown books, is they're like, oh, well, this is popular enough that we can actually now do full books.
Yeah. And the thing about Theros, it's a very interesting set. I can agree, because it's very, like, Greek pantheon. So it's like bringing Greek stuff to D&D without actually bringing Greeks to D&D, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's interesting in that way. I like the idea of the supernatural gifts from the gods. They kind of talk about that in the DMG a little bit, but getting a full, like, bunch of, like, how that might work and how mechanically that's something you can bring into your game is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
I
down
like the alternate cover better, too.
Oh, yeah, I see the alternate cover. Yeah, it's much more cool.
That Hydra looks cooler.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus it has, like, the epic, like, space background.
Look, you can't all get cool backgrounds. We can want them, but we can't all get them.
I am a cool background.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, you know, it's an interesting book. I would want to peruse it at a probably game store before I dove deep into it, is the only thing I'm going to say about it.
Yeah. And they're offering it on Roll20.
True. So, definitely... So it's definitely worth checking out if you want to look into it yourself. Now, the big meat of the D&D that I wanted to talk about this week. Uneartheed Arcana! Bam, 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 bam.
It's the meatiest.
Yeah. So, we got some cool things that came out with our Uneartheed Arcana. Again...
Feats!
Yeah. Feats. Really cool. This is one of those things that, like, I liked about older editions, and they've done them in an interesting way that's, like, you get ability score-ups or this. Now, there seems to be a number of different types of feats here. First off, there's the 3 fighting ones, the Slasher, Piercer, and Crusher. They improved ability score by 1. I think that's the same for all of them. And
yeah,
once per turn,
at least a lot of them have an ability to score up. I think, like, Metamagic Adept doesn't.
Well, I was thinking of, like,
gain sorcery points.
Yeah.
Oh, for the...
Yeah, the Crusher, Piercer, and Slasher. I was kind of going.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
They're like weapon ones. Each of your time, like, once per turn when you hit it with a weapon, you get something special, and you get something special when you critical hit.
Yeah.
Then, yes, you have the Initiate ones, kind of. Like, there's Artificer's Initiate, Eldritch Adept, Fighting Initiate, Metamagic Adept, Fey Touched, kinda, Shadow Touched. Some of them are not quite classy, but they're like you dip into
Gunner
something.
is a little bit.
Well, there isn't a gunslinger in 5th edition. You have to remember.
I thought the artificer
Does have one of its builds can give guns.
firearms. Yeah.
Yes, but it gives a lot of other artificery stuff with firearms. This is just I could use firearms.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Practice expert is just a good all-round one.
Oh yeah, practice expert's really good. I think I like that one. Chef sounds cool, but I agree with our one friend Lightning, who was on the other week on the show. We talked about it for a while, and there are better feats out there for what they give you. It doesn't feel as balanced. Like, you don't even have to tweak it a little bit, or tweak it a lot. You can tweak it like a little bit and make it feel a little better.
I don't think it's bad off the bat. I mean, if your background is a cook and you're being like the secondary kind of support with some healing.
Oh yeah, no, it's not awful.
It's not for the main healer, obviously.
It's never meant for the main healer. But if I can quickly find it, there is another feat which I didn't even know about until Lightning was telling me about it. If I can get the feats in this gosh awful book quickly and efficiently. I think it's here in the original one.
While you're looking, did you find it?
Inspiring leader. 10 minutes per short rest. Yeah. You have a charisma of 13. That's the only prerequisite. Then after that, you can spend 10 minutes inspiring companions to resolve fighting. Choose up to 6 creatures, which can include yourself, within 30 feet of you. When you see or hear you can understand you. Each creature gains temporary hit points equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. A creature can't gain temporary hit points from this feat again until it has finished a short or long rest.
But do they get any stat up bump? Because this one gives you a stat up bump too.
Yes, so it should half it. When a feat has a stat bump, it's replacing 2 plus 2, so it should be half of the ability of this. So consider the 3 things that they're putting down there. Are they equivalent to half of level plus charisma's temporary hit points every short rest? Every short rest.
Yeah, you compare enough food with other creatures. 4 plus your proficiency bonus at the end of the short rest. Any creature who eats the food spends 1 or more hit dice to regain hit points, gains an extra 1d8 hit points.
So that's like Song of Rest for Bard, like a version of it that's kind of set. That's not bad. You know, that can be pretty good. Then you get the temporary hit points thing, which is with 1 hour of work when you finish a long rest, you can get a number of treats. The thing is, they are equal to your proficiency modifier. That's incredibly low. It will like I think what we were saying is like the other stuff in and of itself isn't bad, because it's also like proficiency in chef's tools if you didn't have it. That's kind of like
I think the 2 things I think were kind of pays off though is one, that do last 8 hours. So you can eat them anytime during the 8 hours to get it. And 2, you can eat it as a bonus action.
Yes, but temporary hit points usually last for a period of time too.
Let's see. Action to eat one of these treats. You gain temporary hit points.
I'd have to look up temporary hit points.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They're equal to your proficiency bonus. So you're not getting a lot of them.
No, you're getting like jack diddly of them, is the thing.
But, I mean, in the middle of a battle, to gain even a few temporary hit points as a bonus action.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if you compare it to the other thing is, like, something you prepare out of combat. This is like well, I could do this now.
You prepare it out of combat. It's just, you would use it in combat.
Oh! Unless a feature that grants you temporary hit points has a duration, this does not. They last until you're depleted or finish a long rest.
Okay.
So you could just eat them as soon as you get them. You don't have to wait the 8 hours.
Yeah. And don't temporary hit points stack?
No, they don't.
Okay.
That's why, like, the other one, which is after every short rest, spend 10 minutes, get temporary hit points of a whole bunch of them, is really, really good. maybe that one's the unbalanced one. But I'm saying if you compare that one, which is in the player's handbook, to this one, it automatically makes it feel like, incredibly weak in comparison to it. And the other two abilities that you get for being like half of what that should be don't feel like they add up. Granted, I don't expect like a huge bonus, but like I think what Lightning said is maybe like proficiency plus charisma modifier. Something like that.
Yeah, I can see that because it should be a little...
It's
or
still,
even, proficiency plus...
And like you can keep it to proficiency number of treats you can create. That's fine. Yeah. You create less than the person that does the other thing, but you can give a couple people a decent boost to that once per day of adventuring, rather than once per short rest.
No, I get it. I mean, the only other thing we didn't touch on that they get too is they get also proficiency with cook's utensils if they didn't have it.
Proficiency with any tools, especially just like tools like that, are kind of just they're role playing.
Yeah.
There is no that's sort of like a okay, cool.
But it's also if you didn't already have it. Most likely, if you're taking it, you're already kind of
thinking of being the cook.
Thinking your background is the kind of a cook, probably.
That's the thing about it. Is like, you're already thinking that's your background kind of thing.
That'd be like Sindra taking this.
Yes. That's why, like, I was talking with Lightning about it. He's like, it would make no sense for Sindra to take this. It would just be a waste of stuff, is the unfortunate thing. She already has proficiency. Like, I think she already has proficiency with the cook tools.
Right.
The other two bonuses aren't worth it on their own. That's the thing, is like, the Song of Rest stuff. That's cool, but that's so situational. Song of Rest is kind of like a meh. If you're getting into a lot of encounters where you have to spend hit dice on short rests, then yeah, it makes a difference. But if the adventure you're going on has maybe like one battle per day, or is much more role-playing heavy, let's say like 95% of the games that I'm in for D&D, it's useless.
Right.
It's just like, I know, like, it's not a bad feat overall. It's just, it's not good enough unless you're very specifically, it would help you. And because it's also Constitution or Wisdom you have to take for it. So,
yeah.
I mean, backing off of this a little bit, like, I think Fighting Initiate's one of my favorites, because if you're a multi-class fighter, I don't think you get a fighting style. Oh no, you might get a fighting style, but there's there's things that can do stuff with fighting styles that might require you to have multiples of them, and unless you're like, it allows you to get an extra one. You
can have two different fighting
styles.
So
you could be a fighter with two fighting styles, which would be nice too. Like, even as a fighter, I would love taking Fighting Initiate, because it's like, that can help me greatly. And of course, Poisoner, because you want to poison people.
Yeah, it was funny because of my dyslexia. When I originally read it, I thought it said prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of feat is prisoner?
You learn to shank people.
I also like Shadow Touched.
You get darkness.
Yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Then you can be the shadow.
But I think the one that anyone could easily take,
practice expert,
that would make sense, is the practice expert. I mean, you increased one ability score of your choice by 1 to a max of 20. You gain proficiency with one skill or tool of your choice, and you choose one skill or tool proficiency.
And you get expertise on
bonus to double. Yeah.
The thing about that is, like, you could actually, with that, because they're in that order, technically, you could choose a skill and then gain expertise with it right away.
Yeah.
Thing is, I feel like that one's good, because there's also a feat which gives you 3 skill proficiencies. It's like skilled or something. I like this one, too, because it's like, okay, I only get 1 proficiency, but I also get the expertise and ability score up. It feels like it balances, I think this is a good set of stuff. It's just, none of all of them are as interestingly balanced, and some of them are kind of strange. Like, I feel like the weapon ones, which I started out with, they're neat, but they're kind of weird too, you know? I feel like you have to be specializing in a type of weapon then for that to be really great.
Okay, here's a good one for a support character. Tandem Tactician. You can use the help action as a bonus action.
Ah, yeah, that's
And
the
when
one.
you use the help action to aid an ally in attacking the creature, increase the range of the help action by 10 feet. Additionally, you can help 2 allies targeting the same creature within range when you use the help action this way.
Yep.
So, I mean, especially if you're a bard character or something,
Yeah.
you know, oh, okay, I'll sing a song to inspire everyone, and then I'll help you two who are beating on that guy over
No.
there.
Help is a bonus action, and being able to do possible multiple allies is really good.
Yeah.
It makes it that, like, being very, like, just... Maybe if you're not really good in melee combat, and you don't, like, have a lot of, like, spells or other things left, you could just be like, I'm just gonna use Tactician. You know, tandem
Yeah,
action.
well, and it's a bonus action, too, so if you don't have anything really set up as a bonus action, that's really freaking useful.
I think I was talking with Lightning Guy. He's saying, like, a fighter could have this. Run in, hitting someone, and then have allies who are going to come in and help get bonuses. Sort of, you know.
Yeah. That would be good, too. Yeah, I can see that, because the fighter runs in, hey, Rogue, come over and help. Have some help to hit this guy with your sneak attack.
Yeah. So. No, I like the Uneartheed Arcana. The feats are very neat. I'm curious if they're going to be, like, showing off more feats now. Like, I feel like they're trying to build it into more character options, because the fact is, even with everything that's been put out, there are still pretty limited character options if you don't use the Uneartheed Arcana. They just don't have a lot. They don't put out a lot at all. I think mostly it's races. That's the most thing that you have an option for. So, anyway, we should continue on, because we don't want to get too bogged down with everything.
And humble ourselves?
And humble ourselves just a little bit. So, this is a very nice one. So, Paizo is working with Humble and supporting a bunch of charities, and has put out a Humble Bundle. If you are unaware of Humble Bundle, it's a bundle of, like, cheaper, usually video games, sometimes books, sometimes software, that they put out a number of each month. They have a monthly one and stuff like that I normally subscribe to. Anyway, it's all for charity, and a lot of times games companies will give them codes and stuff to help support charity. Probably is like you know, the cynical part of me is like tax write-off. But, you know...
Any company that does charity, that is a bonus for them. Is yes, they get to do a tax write-off.
Yeah. So, it's a second edition Humble Bundle. It's to benefit the Carl Brandon Society, the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, and the National Urban League. So it's all about diversity and racial justice. That's the reason why they're doing it. In about a little less than 11 days, it'll be done. So for $5, you get a PDF of the core rulebook.
Yeah, and well, not just the PDF, because not just the core rulebook, but a bunch of other.
Oh yeah, no,
things.
A bunch of other stuff too. But that's like the big thing.
And...
Character sheet pack, the Fall of Plaguestone, which I think is an adventure.
Yeah.
A couple of flip maps, a couple of adventures from the Pathfinder Society adventures that they have. A couple of the novels, a flip map classic for 10.
I mean, I did just the $5 one.
Yeah.
And you know, that was fine for me. That was fine for me. I mean,
yeah.
I got some flip map. I got all the PDF. I got some of the PDF stuff. Makes me happy. Mainly, you know, I was like, now I had the PDF core book.
Yeah.
I mean, then you have your $10 tier, $20 tier, and then if you go, $30 tiers in backlog.
Yeah. So they just, what do you know? I guess what they did is enough people went for the 30. Well, we'll get to the 30. So $10 bigger thing it adds is the PDF of the Lost Omens World Guide. That's pretty good. That's basically like the current Pathfinder World Guide. 20 gives you the bestiary and the character guide for Lost Omens character guide. That's more character options. Again, a lot of flip maps, some scenarios, and some books and stuff. The 30 gives you all of that stuff and the core rulebook. Shipping not included. Shipping's around $10, so assume like $40. I can get a core rulebook, physical copy, a whole lot of stuff. Now, granted, it does say it's in backlog, which I just assumes it means that their warehouse full of core rulebooks sold out on this bundle because it was so popular.
Yeah, they probably had so many set aside for the Humble Bundle, and they're just like, oh, that wasn't enough.
Yeah, people really wanted that the core book, because it's like half price core rulebook and a bunch of PDFs for charity. That's really good, you know. The normally core rulebook for Pathfinder 2nd Edition is like $60. Granted, like, you can consider it, because it's like $40 with shipping. You consider, like, if you spent $10 on a crap load of PDFs and $30 on a half-price core rulebook, if you think about it like that, you can get a physical book like that. Like, I love a good physical book. Like, I only went for the 20 because, hey, guess what I already have? Boo, already have it. Yep.
Yeah.
So I didn't need it. And granted, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that's really good. You know, if you want to get into Pathfinder 2nd Edition, I kind of recommend getting at least a $5 here and supporting some charities.
Yeah.
I mean, and this gets into my discussion on Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I like it, but not as much as normal Pathfinder, I think is what I have to say about it.
I concur on that.
It simplified certain things, made other things more complex, and a lot of their ideas are mixed bag whether they implement very well. Like, the 3-action system, that's cool. Implemented it well. The feat selection, yeah. The way that... It's like everything adds your level to it. Except for skills, which is a little bit more complex. Because then you have, like, different levels of adding bonuses to those skills, too. So it becomes like your levels added to everything kind of thing, including your AC. So it feels like the numbers get very big very quickly, and it also feels like that the differences between challenging gets out of hand a lot quicker.
Right.
Which I don't think is necessarily a good thing. I don't want to get too much into it, but I like, from my experience with it so far, again, like, it's a mixed bag. It's not bad. The problems are problematic if you run into them. The ideas that were implemented really well. So it just ends up being this kind of mixed bag of what you bring out of it. I think it's the best way to say it. What you can get out of it.
Yeah.
So we should probably move on? Probably.
Yep.
Kids on Brooms.
Yeah. Much better than Brooms on Kids.
Yeah. So it's the Kids on Bike system. If you're not familiar with the Kids on Bike system, it is effectively like Erie, Indiana / it's on Netflix. I'm forgetting its name because I forget so much stuff sometimes when I should remember it. Kids 80s, they played D&D.
Oh, you mean
Stranger Things!
Yes, thank you.
It was blanking in my brain so hard. I'm like, oh my god, I should know this. Like, Erie, Indiana, if you know classic stuff like that. Stranger Things, if you're more modern in your knowledge of things. It's effectively, you know, like, that's what it is, the original Kids on Bikes. Then they've done a space one. This is your magic-based one, so maybe you're like Harry Potter or other... Harry Potter's not the only one. It's just like the one that people come to mind when it comes to, like, kids doing magic-y stuff. So, there are other ones. You could probably do, like, a classic Sabrina the Teenage Witch, too. Something like that, you know. Or the more modern, creepy one that was on. I think that was Netflix, too. There's a lot of stuff to get from it, but that's effectively the situation. It's Kids on Bikes, but with now Kids on Brooms, because you go on magic rather than supernatural or sci-fi. $25. I think that's the physical book, not the PDF. So I don't know what the PDF's price is. If they have a PDF, they might. A Renegade might not have a PDF right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like they have an option for.
Where are RPGs? I don't see anything, so I think they might not do a lot of PDFs. So you might have to find it on not on their site.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of. So,
yeah, it looks like they just mainly do actual hard copies.
Granted, it's like softcover books, but I can't complain if that's what they do.
I mean, $25 for a core book is not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. So, it's neat. It's out. I think we talked a little bit about it before, but now diving into it the rest of the way if you were interested in it. But following that up is a free bit of material, the Kobayashi Maru. So here's a little bit of nerdy fact. If you do not know about the Kobayashi Maru it is supposed to be a legendarily difficult test in Starfleet. We are talking Star Trek now. That James T. Kirk, captain of the original Enterprise, cheated in order to
which he
pass.
he got slapped on the wrist and a medal for doing it.
Because he did it. He's like, it's a no-win situation. You know, yes, I understand. Like you're supposed to sit people into a no-win situation, but like when you have this kind of thing, it allows you to think and like step up and try to figure out something. And you know, if the scenario cheats in such a way that you can never win, why shouldn't he cheat in order to beat it?
I have an even nerdier fact for you, because they still use the Kobayashi Maru as a test, which they've updated over the years. Nog crashed the simulation when he did it because he tried to barter with the Klingons, and that wasn't programmed into the simulation, and it ended up crashing it.
Wow.
So you could kind of say he beat it.
Yes. This is a 58 PDF adventure, set for the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game, original era. So this is like supposed to be the original era version of the test.
Yes.
But I think the test was always kind of like original era anyway. Like even if people were like,
when they talked, I mean, he was the most famous for it and everything, but they did still use it after it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, you know, it was the whole thing was it was supposed to teach you that there are sometimes situations where you have to make a hard decision, and you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it was supposed to instill that into you know officers.
All right. Sorry, I'm hungry.
Nom 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 nom. But
I did not have breakfast.
Yeah, this is doing it in the previous the original timeline.
Because the thing is, even if you update it a little bit, you might not need to update the general scenario too, kind of thing.
You can just use updated ships.
Yeah. It's the entire idea, like, disabled freighter near the Klingon neutral zone sends out a distress signal, and you have to rescue them. And things go south, effectively, very quickly, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, you could also swap out the Klingons for another race.
That's true. Classically, it's the Klingons, because it was still back during the area before the peace with the Klingons.
Right, but if you were trying to do it, like, in the DS9 era... Not error.
Well, the thing is, they still did Klingons, though, because, again, it's a classic scenario that they're using it.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you might not be up against the Klingons, because they're your allies at that point. It might be Cardassians, or Romulans, or something. Or the Dominion.
I mean, like, I get the feeling, just because of the nature of Klingons, they probably wouldn't complain, if they still used it as a thing in the Academy.
Well, no, they wouldn't complain. What I more meant was, since they might not be doing that because they're our allies now, let's not make scenarios that we're trying to blow up our allies, possibly.
You wouldn't make new ones. Like, the original one, I could see, like, if you're just keeping the original and, like, it's a famous one that people would have known about, like, you know, the Klingons know about, like, oh, it's that thing that you were doing back in the day. We murdered you a lot. Yeah, we did that.
Well, they also...
Good times.
They also attacked us in DS9 time, too, so...
Yeah. Good times. By the way, do you mind this knife in your gut? What's a good knife in the gut between pals? That's Klingons! A knife in the gut between pals? I feel like...
And then followed up with some Klingon blood wine.
Yes. So, like, you do have to watch out for that. Anyway, yeah, it's free. It's nice because it's an example of the way that they run a adventure, you know, and getting an idea, because that's one of the things that I feel like the Star Trek Adventures needs is more printed adventures to at least give someone an idea where to start. Like, I feel like every time I've run it, I enjoy it, and I think the players have generally enjoyed it, but I feel like I'm still not running it perfectly for how the system is built to have it run.
I think, as in any almost RPG, the first time at least running a new system, it's useful to have a pre-made adventure to base it off of, just to get the reins of the system.
Yeah.
And then you can go and create your own adventures and stuff a lot easier. But that first time, it's hard to run something that, you know, you're not even that familiar with without a safety net.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, Kobayashi Maru. It is out now for free. So, yeah. Go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, it's only 15 pages.
Give you an idea of how to run a Star Trek Adventures game. Munchkin Dungeon. Let's talk about that.
Oh, real quick, I just noticed one little sentence here that actually helps. The adventure also contains advice for adaptation for use in campaigns based in other Star Trek eras. So it does also give suggestions if you want to update the test for like next gen, DS9, Voyager eras. It gives advice to do so.
Cool.
Sorry, just wanted to throw that in there.
That's a good thing to know. So the thing about this entire thing, it's the original one in its first expansion side quest, came out about 8 days ago. Because we did miss last week, so some of the stuff is like last week. It's you're exploring a dungeon as a Munchkin, gaining levels and loot. You know, kind of like semi-competing with each character has their own minis. You deal with monsters, like bosses, and I think there is like sometimes like playing for or against each other. You know, it's the aspect of Munchkin that exists in the concept of it in actual board game format. I feel like a little bit. It's not like it like if you look at what's in it, you know, it's not going to be like the super in-depth, you know, like some of those really expensive board games. Yeah, like this, like a step in between one of their like a tile-laying board game and the Munchkin card game. So we've gotten a little
looking at the actual image of what comes in the box and stuff.
Yeah. So I assume like what you do is you kind of lay out the rooms of monsters as you kind of like actually physically explore it and go in between the rooms and stuff, and put things in rooms. So like I'm sure like the monsters are a little like randomized as to what shows up in the various parts of the dungeon and things like that. That's neat, you know.
One of the cool things is it does come with minis.
Yeah.
And one of them's like a nose with boogers coming out of it.
It's the floating nose.
I know it's the floating nose. There's the floating nose. Looks like there's the chicken. Mm-hmm. Which you never pick up a chicken in a dungeon.
Well, that's a duck. That's
duck in a dungeon.
That's a large angry chicken.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. My brain's...
It's fine.
You got some boss monsters.
Yeah, you got the
dragon,
the plutonium dragon,
and what the hell's the bull?
Bullrog. I think it's Bullrog.
Yeah, it's the Bullrog.
It's like hard to remember the names of everything.
Yeah. And I'm seeing some classic, gear like the Gentleman's Club.
Each hero has not only two unique special. Each hero has not only two unique special abilities that sets them apart, but they can also gain different bonuses as they level up, allowing players to play different styles each time. You've got the bosses and monsters randomly selected, so the dungeon is always going to be different. The little figures, of course. They have a rule book where you can download already. So I mean, like, I feel like this is a really good product because, like, it feels like, again, I feel like a full Munchkin tile laying game would be kind of interesting, but I guess this is like, that's a little bit more in depth. This is like the step in between it. Still pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out. Especially if you're a big Munchkin fan. I think it would be a good one to check out. So,
I love good Munchkin.
Yes, when Steve Jackson Games is being good and behaving themselves, a good Munchkin's always a wonderful thing. Let's move on. Let's talk about a little, like, weird one. Hello Neighbor, the party game. Okay. So, long story short, for just a little bit of summary, Hello Neighbor, game by, oh god, I'm forgetting, Tiny Build. The original game as it was, it came out like as a demo. It was a mixed bag in people's opinion. It was interesting, kind of. By the final release of the game, it feels like they didn't do much to fix it up. The original game. You know, like, it wasn't much different from the demo. It's the idea of, like, which there really isn't a plot to it. It's like, you have a creepy neighbor who's doing something, like, evil in his basement, and you have to break into his house, but he, like, chases you down and stuff. And if you get caught by him, slowly but surely he puts up more defenses into place or something. I don't know if there's a permanent end. I can't remember because I only watched someone play through a bunch of it. Then they came out with a new version of it, which I think is Secret Neighbor, which the entire Secret Neighbor is a little more interesting because the idea was there are a bunch of kids infiltrating the house, and technically one of you is the neighbor because he has the ability to disguise himself as a kid.
That's not creepy at all.
It's incredibly creepy. That's the point. You know, so that's kind of what it's based on, rather than the original Hello Neighbor. It's based on that Secret Neighbor, which was a more, like, multiplayer game where you're trying to, like, find your way to basement, find a bunch of keys. Cool.
Wow, that's a lot of players. 5 to 10 players.
I think it's probably like more like a werewolf or something, you know, or like a resistance. You know, you're either one of the neighborhoods of kids, of the treacherous neighbor, or even the secret neighbor. As the kids, you use items wisely, try to locate the keys locked the doors to win, but where not only are the neighbors at the table trying to trick you to voting to let them use the key, but one of your fellow kids is actually a secret neighbor. So there's probably a lot more in-depth to it than it seems like the original, like, kind of party game based on the original game is.
But it's coming out in October.
So
it'll be a little while.
It's $20, so that's not a lot. I'm just surprised that they put out something like, not only this quick, but, like, again, I don't know if it had the popularity. Like, it's got, like, name recognition for those who are fans of Tiny Build. You know, Tiny Build does a lot of good games.
Yeah.
But, like,
it might just be that, you know, they offered it at a really low, you know, the property at a low price, and they're like, sure, we'll do something with it.
There could be a lot of good reasons for it, you know? Yeah. And again, like, maybe since its original inception, especially with the Secret Neighbor game that came out after the original, maybe that's had popularity, you know, that I don't know about. Because I saw a couple people play through that, you know? Again, like, it looked neat. It was the same kind of, like, that dynamic of one versus a lot of people that some of the multiplayer games are coming in for right now. Some of those, like, kind of horror-based ones are doing, you know, which aren't bad. So, neat.
Although, I will say, they need to update something on their release material here. It says, They'll be available everywhere early October 2020 with a limited number of copies available during Gen Con. Oh, Gen Con virtual. It does say virtual. Okay. Because I'm like, didn't Gen Con get
virtual reality?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's virtual. It does actually say Gen Con virtual. I missed that, the virtual part there originally.
So that'd be neat. That, like, I guess there'll be some that will, like, it's first come, first serve, probably for buying it during that. I mean, it's the same as a convention, except rather than having to walk to a booth, it's online. It just means it'll probably...
Which means stuff will probably go quicker.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely go quicker. So, I mean...
Oh, God. And that's in 5 days.
Yeah, oh, I forgot it's that soon. Oh, God. Yeah, you're right.
There's another thing for you, extra bonus fact for you guys today. Gen Con Online is in 5 days.
Yeah, it's next week. Jeez. They partner with a lot of people. Arcane Wonders partnered with Tiny Build, Evolution, and Genuine Entertainment. That's cool. It's like 4 groups of people? Wow.
Yeah.
I guess, and maybe the game was more successful than I thought, just from, like, again, like, the people's opinion online might not mean anything to be how successful the games ended up. You know? Definitely. Just because I saw someone that, like, you know, and I kind of agreed with their kind of assessment from watching it, doesn't mean that there are a lot of people that liked it. It could also just be like wasn't for me. Anyway, we got one more topic. Let's hit that one up. And it's another RPG topic. We will talk about Vaesen, as I give a funny accent and try to talk about it. So Vaesen. Free League Press is giving us a Nordic Horror Rpg. Now, I think on this show, I've oftentimes put out my opinion on horror RPGs. Often. Horror RPGs tend to be a super hit and miss. How well you can do them. But I mean, Free League Press did the Aliens RPG, or the Alien RPG. So I mean, they got some skill at doing some kind of horror things. So it's like Nordic Gothic folklore horror. They got a core rulebook, GM screen, map, a card pack, and set of custom dice, all available from their stuff. All pre-orders get early access to a full PDF of the game. So assuming that the core rulebook isn't out in physical form yet, you know, but you can get a PDF of the game with your pre-order. It's based on the work of a Swedish illustrator and author, Johan Ergkrans, or Ergkrans. Johan Ergkrans. I think I got it right. Probably. I didn't butcher his name completely. It's using their Year Zero engine, so it's the same one that they use from Year Zero. It was kickstarted last fall. We might have mentioned it when it was on Kickstarter. I don't know. Sometimes, like, when we get to, like, a year off of a Kickstarter, it's hard for me to remember what we talked about.
Yeah, it's hard to remember that.
You play step in the role of 19th century investigators in the Mystic North. You've been born with the sight. I can't see what more that normal people can't. It basically got, like, spirit sense, and you're going to, like, the north to investigate, like, supernatural horror things. I mean, it says armed but nothing but courage, conviction, the ability to see the supernatural. Can't we have a gun? It's 19th century. We can have a gun.
No, you can't have a gun.
I kind of want a gun. Look at that guy. He's got a revolver. I want me a revolver to shoot the big Wendigo monster.
No. You have to bare knuckle fight him.
So it's to be fisticuffs, beastie? Yes.
Or you can use some large triangular weights.
What ho, Phineas? Let's continue to lift large triangular weights.
There you go. You can challenge the Wendigo to a weightlifting contest.
What ho, Wendigo? That actually worked so much better than I thought it would.
Yes. Oh, God.
Man. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Wendigo just eats your face.
I mean, the chance. Look at that thing. It's much bigger than you. The chances are yes. The chances are highly yes.
And rips your mustache off.
I mean, that's kind of rude. Just because it wants a sweet-ass mustache and it can't get one. The physical books are coming out in August, so you don't have to wait long before you get stuff. So, but that's Vaesen. Cool. It definitely would be worth checking out because horror RPGs, as I said, Free League Press does a good job on some of this kind of stuff, and checking out, what their take on Scandinavian horror would be neat. So
maybe you could defeat it with some Swedish meatballs.
No, that's just silly. They're too delicious to just waste that way.
From IKEA.
Then they are still authentic Swedish. I'm sorry, Swedish people. I smell like the Swedish chef each time I make these words. You're Gunderston, Scandinavian warrior from the north. Where's Scandinavia? You don't know where Scandinavia is.
Okay, stop the bad accent.
Look, I played that character, Jord Gunderston, Scandinavian warrior from the north. It was in a normal D&D game, so no one knew where Scandinavia was.
It also sounds so much like the gamers, the original guy, the original gamers, with the guy.
You left me for dead.
You my brother.
You left me for dead. Oh God, it's that guy.
I'm gonna backstab him with a ballista.
Yeah. I like the thought pattern. I'll pull out my dagger. No, that's not big enough. My short sword. Oh,
that's just gonna piss him off.
Hi, the ballista. It's like it wheels out like a giant crossbow.
Wait, don't we have a ballista?
Yeah. Sets it up, takes the time to, aims it right there.
And critical.
Mm-hmm.
And now it looks like if someone shot a vat of Swedish meatballs.
No, I thought it was
beef stew or something.
Not a borscht or something like.
Not borscht is Russian.
I don't remember what they said. I'll watch it again.
Yes.
Anyway, so usually at this time we move on to our regular segments that we have every week. We start usually with a deeper discussion. Again, like it just
we have not had a chance to have it.
Yeah.
To do any.
We've talked about doing one beyond our normal kind of reviews to review some of the newer stuff and try to see if we could find it on Tabletop Simulator stuff. We just haven't had a chance to. So just that's just been timing for a lot of stuff. But then we have a Kickstarter Corner, which I just wanted to give a quick shout out to a game on Kickstarter for, if I can find the one quickly and efficiently here. I forgot Kickstarter hates me in Firefox lately. Oh, there, check out at least get the name of it. Currently, oh, jeez. Well, never mind then. They canceled out that Kickstarter. I just found that out as I was looking this up. They hadn't been as of a couple of days ago, so I'm guessing that they wanted to redo it. So, okay. It happens. Sometimes you have to cancel something, and then you just, either redo it another time, or, put it out a different way. Stuff happens. So, never mind. I was going to have a quick shout-out for them and their game, but, maybe next time when they put it out. Are we in Tabletop? Or weeks in Tabletop? Jeez.
Oh, yeah, true, 2 weeks.
I don't think we had any, Tabletop Simulator games. That helps.
I have not.
I didn't either. We had Grinding Gears 2 weeks.
Yes, you have been spending the last 2 weeks mining a turtle.
Mm-hmm.
You guys also have, at one point, recruited some extra dwarves from one of the other mining teams.
Yep.
to help you get some resources. You guys have a crap ton of gold and silver and iron and a decent chunk of adamantine.
Yeah, it's we can get slight upgrades, but I don't feel like we can get as crazy as it sounds like for the amount we have, because it's like
you still have to find a place to trade it in.
Yeah, and like uses for it too. Like, like the adamantine, I think we've been more along the lines of, you know, maybe like give it to that wizard guy and see what he can do with it. Because probably someone on that fantasy land could like make like, you know, he could probably recruit an army from his fantasy world of monstrosity people that he's been experimenting on.
Fleavers, an army of fleavers that can vacuum breathe.
And now they have like adamantine armor on their bodies.
Adamantine teeth.
Yeah, see, just they bite through all their spaceships. They just chew through spaceships. That is stupid enough to be. I mean, it could work.
Army of fleavers, go!
Vacuum fleavers with adamantine teeth to take out spaceships. They're also small enough that they might not be noticed. They're just like, we've got a hole in the one area of the ship, preventing air. What happened? I don't know.
Fleavers.
But then they get loose and they become a pest in the cosmos. Because they start breeding amongst themselves.
That's just insane.
Yes.
But you guys have also recruited a bard now.
Yeah, we got a bard. Sweet.
Who's going to be joining your adventures.
I mean,
and you also have some elven druids who are working on seeing if they can help you with some of the baby world turtles to help attack.
Yes.
So you're making some good leeways into contacts.
Yep.
And you captured some vacuum breathing creatures, which the wizard wanted.
Yep. I only had 1 week of Records of Evil and Legacies of Cain each. We missed the 1 week. Records, we got a new character. Introduced them. Technically a new NPC, too, of the Sexy Time Devil lady. She's a devil, so she sleeps with people for the greater evil. It's a job, not a way of life like the goddamn succubus. And they got like a murdery bard character who's a changeling, so can change shape, similar to you. But we'll get to that in a second. And then Legacies of Cain, they had some adventures in Tokyo where they have to deal with an entirely another set of politics because it's not the normal vampire politics they're used to. They have their own politics there. Yep. So they had to deal with a bunch of that. Fun times. And then we had 2 weeks of Children of Wrath. The 1 week, you all got some... I don't know, we're just 1 week, actually. Yeah.
We had 2 weeks. Oh, no. Wait.
No.
No, we had 2 weeks.
We had 2 weeks, yeah. I'm sorry, it was the week before that we missed. You started your trek through the desert in the caravan. The previous week, Maxwell got attacked. Yeah, Maxwell got attacked by a scorpion, managed to defeat it, managed to live.
You did not yell, get over here.
No, this week you managed to run into a large sleeping dragon, desert type of dragon. Didn't piss it off. And then you fought some bandits. Marauders who were probably eyeing up your caravan. And you managed to defeat them. In a very epic battle that left you all wounded and beat up.
Yes.
So, probably the most epic battle you've had so far.
That one was so bad. There were so many enemies.
Like, the original... The thing is, the first 13 of them were technically it was technically a medium difficulty fight. It should have been like a relatively easy fight in comparison.
But remember something.
Mm-hmm.
That I get reminded by you guys a lot in my game.
Yeah.
Multiple enemies ramp up a lot, especially when they have multi-attack.
Exactly. That's one.
And that was the thing that all of them had 2 attacks.
And pack tactics, meaning they got advantage when they were next to one of their allies.
Right. So that's 26 attacks a turn.
The thing is, it was pretty devastating, but like, if the other guys hadn't shown up, you would have won pretty hands down. Like, some of the tactics and some of the things you did was because it was unfamiliar with combat and your characters, and that kind of increased the difficulty a little bit there, too.
Well, yeah, because we haven't had a lot of combat in that game.
Yeah.
And we hadn't had combat in that game with our levels really for a while.
Because the thing is, I used there's some good calculators online for calculating the difficulty of things pretty well in a 5th edition game. So theoretically, it should have been a relatively medium difficulty fight. That's why, like, I originally was going to have the other guys with that, but that's why I decided to throw them in that they were a little farther off, you know.
Oh god, they were really bad because they got 3 attacks each.
Granted, they didn't get the advantage, which helps, but they had a lot more to hit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like the initial strategy of ranged attacks before
don't have a lot of up close fighters.
No, and like
that's the other thing is most of us are ranged.
Yeah,
and you gave us a lot of people who just jumped on us.
Yep. So it became like a very interesting fight overall. It ended up all right. I did technically do a Sex Angel, but it was unnecessary. And it was just right at the end, and pretty much just healed you, and then stabbed someone once.
Yes.
And the person she stabbed was pretty low in hit points too, so it's sort of like, well, this kills him, you know. Someone else could have killed him probably.
Also, just taking care of him.
Yeah. It ended up okay overall.
Yeah.
Like, and certain things like, you know, Maxwell could have healed you himself the turn before.
Yes, because he didn't realize that it was a bonus action to use that spell.
And ranged.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, that would have really been useful.
Because then you don't have to worry about, like, you would have been up an extra turn.
Right, but granted, I also wouldn't have had nearly as many hit points.
But his second turn also, he could have come up.
He could have cast it again, yeah.
Yeah, on you to keep you going. And at that point in time, like, that would have been, like, at least one extra attack on your end, maybe not the
Also, the other problem was our cantrips.
Yes, which we weren't doing the cantrips quite correctly. So there's a lot of little details that, you know, just because...
Because that would have made the battle a lot easier, too, if we would have remembered that, oh yeah, they're leveled with the character, not the class, so I would have been getting an extra attack every turn.
Yep.
So.
But, no, it ended up all right. It was interesting. It was good for a big battle. We went a little over, but still fun. And I think that's the major things in tabletop that we did. Yep. So, yeah. Off-stream games. I should probably mention those. We had one session of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition game that did more dungeon delving. And then the Pathfinder 2nd Edition game I've been doing with Joe and some of our old high school friends.
Yep.
Joe, Blaze, and because all 3 of us went to high school together, and a few of our other friends. Because, you know, Blaze is on this channel very often. Joe's on this channel very often. Anyway, a lot of us did we've switched it out now that another one of our friends is going to run the game. Just because we're also going to do it on Mondays, because if we were doing it on Tuesdays, I was having 3 games, and by the 3rd game, it was hit or miss how I was going to feel. You know, it was at that point in time. Some days, I was feeling really up for doing it. Then I realized which game I was playing, and it had one of the characters that just killed my soul in it. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, he discouraged me from wanting to play. Just a little bit.
Well, now you're going to actually get to play.
Yeah.
And not DM.
I don't have his BS.
Yes. And I am trying out a new class. So
I'll try it.
I'm going to be a goblin alchemist.
Neat. I have no idea what I'm going to be. Something filling the gaps. Whatever we don't have, I'll probably make then. I can come up with backstory. I'm pretty good at that.
You can be Bob.
And then I had 2 weeks of the off-stream Pathfinder 1st Edition game where I'm running Carrion Crown, my 3rd time running it. The first week, they got some more information. They discovered a few things. There wasn't anything like large going on that week. You know, there was some good character interactions. It was really the big thing was this last week where 2 of them went to the graveyard when undead attacked. So they almost got murdered. And like my little, because they went alone, my Deus Ex, because again, like they were getting their asses whooped, because also I think they did have really bad strategies for fighting them. So my Deus Ex priest almost died also. 3 of them managed to barely defeat 3 skeletons. Granted, they were level 1 characters. Level 1 characters versus skeleton should be able to take it.
Yeah.
They were not good at taking it. They did a lot of things that I'm like, these are... When it comes to action economy, it's a good idea not to try to like take out things quickly. They did not. Granted, one of them was surprised and lost the initiative to him, so it was 2 rounds before he could act, which sucked for him. But, and then I had the professor. Then they all staked out the graveyard, except for one of them who the player wasn't there, so I had the character stick back at the house. And remember how I had the professor zombie attack Kendra? I had that happen while they were away.
Oh, fun.
So, the other guy was a bard, and his most aggressive spell was grease. So you know what I had him do? They greased him twice, and the second time they managed to push him in the basement and lock him in the basement. So everybody got home with the housekeeper unconscious from injuries, the Kendra and the Reese, who was the bard, injured. And then so, like, the one character wanted to try to, like, see if they could use the Ouija board that you find to communicate with them. But when he was trying to hold the professor while they did that, the professor got a really good punch on him. Did, like, 10 damage, reduced him to 1, and they failed to grapple him also. So one of the other characters, who's the gunslinger, took a shot. And criticaled. Guns do ×4 critical. The Professor Zombie died, and everything just emotionally broke down, because that character that was trying to grab him, just like, it was an awesome scene. It was like an awful scene too, you know, but like, it was, it's a thing that happened for them, and it was a great character building moment, so it was very fun. But I think that's it for our week with Tabletop.
Yes.
Or our weeks in this case. So our very final segment, which we'll just throw in here for a quick second before we head on our way, right on time for today, awesome, is Consult the Table. So if you have any questions for us, you can throw them into our Twitch chat right over here. You can throw them into the description of this when it comes up on YouTube. You can, of course, check out my Discord, which should be linked below. I think that Discord link is working. Should be. And when you join the Discord, you can either throw it into, there's a Discussing Tabletop section there, or you could throw at us each individually. I'm at Dracovin on Twitter. Joe's at JWSeeker81. You can message us by either adding us or message us directly there. There is an email, discussingtabletop@yahoo.com, if you really want to use it that way. If it's a question that we can just answer for you right then and there, we will. If it's a question that we feel like is more important to be brought here for discussing with you, kind of big answers that will help a lot of people, bring it up here. I haven't got many big questions. Most of the time, the questions I've gotten are being like, I can answer these 3 seconds. But still, you know, one of these days we'll get a question we can bring up to the show.
Yes.
I mean, we've had a couple people asking questions on the show, too. Occasionally. But anyway, thanks for joining me, Joe.
Yep, of course.
We should be back next week, 2 p.m. EST, our normal time. If you're looking for more stuff, tomorrow at 7 p.m. should be Grinding Gears, EST also.
Yep.
Joe will be running that game. I'll be a player. That'll be fun. If you're looking for other games, Records of Evil, that's 10 a.m. Tuesday. Legacy of Kain, that's 2 p.m. on Tuesday, and Children of Wrath is 8 p.m. on Thursday. The things I will be doing is probably more of the Forest next week at 8 p.m. on Friday. Didn't have it this week. A bunch of us felt sickly, not well, so we didn't have it. And I might have some random gaming here and there. I'm planning on bringing some gaming back to the channel other than RPGs, but I don't know what yet or when, so figure it out. When I do, I will. But for now, everyone out there, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Have a great rest of your Saturday, great rest of your weekend. Hopefully you can join us for Children of Wrath, and if not, whenever you join us next here, please do. And until then, farewell.
More.